My family came here originally in 1860. A guy named Dave Miller was the first of our family to arrive here, and he actually homesteaded a ranch east of Fairplay there. Ultimately, John D. Beyer, my great-grandfather, got the ranch from Dave Miller, and my grandfather John H. and my dad John R. ranched that ranch till 1964. At that time, my dad and granddad decided they were in search of more water, and they went to Wyoming and found a ranch up there. It was on the Green River, had lots of water, and they spread out and had 2 ranches at that time. So I was born here in Denver and lived in Fairplay till I was 3, but we moved to Wyoming in '64, and my dad ranched up there for about 24 years. And they sold that ranch in '88, and my dad moved back to this country and acquired this end of the ranch, the west end of the ranch. At the time, it was just 250 acres with nothing on it. He built a cabin and just wanted to get back to the high country. And a couple years later, this end of the ranch, the east end of the ranch, came available, and he acquired it as well. So, long history of ranching in this family. So it's really fantastic that we are able to hang on to this ranch. My dad started a partnership. He'd seen ranches go away from families. When the parents die, kids inherit the ranches and can't afford to pay the property tax. So he'd seen that happen over and over again, and had the idea that maybe I start giving this ranch to my kids. And we started a partnership with my sister and I several years ago, where we acquired a little bit of the ranch each year. So at the time of his death in 2008, we already owned about 50% of this ranch. And of course, prior to that, we were able to put a conservation easement on it. I know that was something that he was dragging his feet on initially. Didn't want anybody involved, didn't want anybody telling him what to do. He was a very independent, old-time cowman. But as we started to look at the pros and cons, one thing my dad did not ever want to do with any of his properties was subdivided. He couldn't stand to see houses or homes go up. So at the core, we were on the same page with, you can't subdivide your property. Well, that's what he wanted to do anyway. And he didn't tell us one way or the other when we got the property what we could do with it, but I knew that was his core belief, that he did not want anybody to subdivide this land. So the restriction of not being able to subdivide the land was a non-event for him. And the fact that they were going to pay us money to not subdivide and do what we weren't going to do anyway was kind of a no-brainer. I've often described it to people as, this is as close as you can get to having your cake and eating it too. We were not going to sell the land, we're not going to subdivide the land, and Colorado Open Lands was going to pay us a large sum of money to not do what we weren't going to do anyway. So it was kind of a no-brainer. So then you start looking at, well, what are the downsides? There's always a downside somewhere. And, well, maybe they would come in here and tell my dad he couldn't run the cattle on the meadow, or he couldn't put his cattle here, and the cattle are hard on property. But none of that has happened. I mean, my dad was a cowman. He manages land on his own. He's been doing it for 70 years. So if you're a person that wants to conserve the land as well, our values and goals are aligned. So it was honestly a non-event. And since my sister and I have had this ranch the last couple of years, it's getting even less and less. Once a year they come up here and take a look at our land and see how we're doing. And really, I don't even see them. I mean, they come, sometimes I guess they even come by helicopter and just swoop down and take a look at the real estate. So really, it's been a non-event. Nobody's told us what we can and can't do. There are obviously restrictions, but those restrictions we knew and we agreed with from the get-go. We're not putting condos on the river. We know we can't do that. We don't want to do that. We don't want to run way too many cattle in here that beat the land down. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's the best of both worlds. They gave us money to do what we're going to do anyway. So if you're the kind of person that wants to preserve the land, manage it properly, that's what everybody's goal is. So we're all in line. You know, the relationship with Colorado Open Lands has been a good one. My dad was a tough old-time rancher who rarely ever left the property. And to have strangers come in, he always grumbled about that, and to have to meet new people, he didn't care for that much. But when they got here, he had a real ability to really connect with people. And he was able to connect with the Colorado Open Lands people. And of course, we had lots of dealings with them over the years, putting this deal together. And they earned his trust, which was hard to do. And became kind of like family. As a matter of fact, when my dad passed away in 2008, the president came to his funeral. So we developed a real relationship, and of course my sister and I, we appreciate what Colorado Open Lands has done for us. They've allowed us to keep this ranch in our family. I don't know if we could have done it without them. So we have an appreciation in our heart that if for not Colorado Open Lands, we wouldn't have this ranch and would be able to keep it and pass it along to our kids. But the people themselves have been great. They've not been pushy, they've not overpromised. They've just been real world with us, told us what to expect. And that's what's happened. We've not had any surprises. We've not had one time where we've said, oh, I didn't know we could do that, or I didn't know that was a restriction, or boy, this has been a pain, or it's been just no problem whatsoever. So we've enjoyed the relationship. We appreciate, I think, each other, and it's been a valuable relationship over the years.